All right. Well, we are going to go ahead and kick this thing off. First and foremost, welcome everyone. Thank you all for taking some time from your day to join us for the webinar, PatentBot's Gen AI. We will start with a quick introduction. My name is Katie, and I am the Customer Success Manager here at PatentBots. We are also lucky to be joined today by Jeff O'Neill. Jeff is the founder and lead developer here at PatentBots. Jeff and I will be your host for today's webinar. And Jeff and I are very excited to walk you all through how PatentBots is thoughtfully and securely incorporating generative AI into our patent drafting and prosecution tools. During today's session, we are going to kick things off with a quick overview of the security and infrastructure foundation. From there, we'll move into a live demo to show everyone how Gen AI is being incorporated and integrated into our platform. So really the goal for today is to give everyone a very clear understanding of how PatentBots is approaching generative AI, which is, of course, responsibly, securely, and with the needs of patent professionals at the center. So again, thank you all for joining. A couple of housekeeping items before we get into the fun stuff. Today's session is being recorded, and everyone who registered for today's webinar will receive a link to view the recording at a later time in case you want to go back and review it again. And then the second bullet point here on the slide is we are asking you to use the Q&A chat feature to ask questions throughout the session. That Q&A chat function should be located at the very bottom center of the Zoom screen. So with that, we are going to jump right in. And I'm going to hand it over to Jeff. We are going to ask the audience for some help here. We're going to begin with a poll today related to the use of Gen AI. So if everyone would take just a moment and review the three options in the poll, and if you could select the options there, that would be great. I'd give everyone a minute, and then we'll go ahead and discuss the results. Give another couple seconds there. All right, excellent. Thank you all for participating. Jeff, I'll go ahead and hand it over to you if you'd like to talk a little bit about the results.
Yeah, so let's take a quick look. So does your company allow the use of Gen AI? And it looks like three-quarters do, 53 of 68 allow the use of Gen AI tools. So that's great. It's actually a bit higher than I was expecting. It seems that a lot of law firms are very conservative. The second one is, would you use Gen AI for patent drafting if it was available? And that was a very high yes response rate, 62 of 69. So that's great to know. And then the last question is, how comfortable are you with using Gen AI tools? And there we have a solid leader in three. So it sounds like people are interested in Gen AI, but they're not yet really sure how to use them most effectively. It sounds like some people can't hear. If anyone can hear us, could you just put it in a question so we can confirm that you can actually hear us? Okay, so at least one person can. So great. Thank you for doing that. There's a couple people who can't, but it sounds like it's on their end and not on our end. Great. Well, thank you for answering the poll questions. That was very helpful. And thank you for letting us know about the audio.
All right. We will go ahead and jump right on to our next slide.
Yeah, so first I want to just do kind of a big picture summary of how we're approaching Gen AI tools. I think a lot of you know that we're taking a more conservative and more prudent approach than a lot of vendors out there. And these are kind of the main things that we are trying to achieve when we use Gen AI. So first and foremost, we have zero data retention. So all the inputs, all the outputs, they are never stored, they're never logged, nothing is used for training. So we lock everything down as secure as we can be. Next, we are using public Gen AI models. We're currently using the Llama 3 model. We're not doing any kind of fine tuning or training of our own models. So, you know exactly what model is being applied when you use Gen AI with us. The next point is that we want to be very transparent into exactly how we are using Gen AI for you. And we'll go through this during the demo today, but we tell you exactly what are in the prompts that we're sending off. So there's no surprises when you use our tools. You get exactly what you are expecting. Fourth bullet, we want to make our tools as easy to use as possible. A lot of our tools are integrated right inside of Microsoft Word, so they're right where you need to be. We make it easy to insert Gen AI outputs into your Word document, so we want a seamless approach as possible. And then lastly, we want to make our tools very cost effective. A lot of Gen AI vendors are quite pricey, and our Gen AI tools are all included with your existing subscription. So, for example, if you're subscribed to Prep and Pros Pro, you get all of our Gen AI drafting tools already included. There is no extra charge for that.
Excellent.
And just to tell you quickly how you can enable the Gen AI. So by default, all of our Gen AI tools are disabled, and we want to allow law firms to, or actually we require law firms to explicitly make them available to their users. And this is our page where your subscription admin can go ahead and do that. And we have two toggles there. One is non-drafting Gen AI, and the other is drafting Gen AI. And the basic split there is if Gen AI is creating outputs that you are going to put into your patent application, it's drafting Gen AI, and otherwise it is not. So some firms will enable one and not the other, and some firms will enable both.
All right. So I am going to take it back over. And now we are going to jump into a brief demo of all of the Gen AI tools that we're talking about today. We'll begin with some of the drafting Gen AI functions. And the two that we are going to look at today are the Gen AI chat as well as the Gen AI prompts. And these are included with a subscription to Prep and Pros Pro located in the drafting tools for patent applications. The best way for us to take a look at the functionality here is just to go ahead and open up a Word document. This is a partially drafted patent application that you're seeing here, opened up right inside of Word. Through the very easy to install Microsoft add-in, this is going to give you that quick access to the drafting automation tools right through the Word ribbon. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to close that out. And I'm just going to open this up, give us some more real estate here. All right. So seeing here on the right-hand side, this is where you are accessing all of the drafting tools for patent applications. For today's purposes, we are going to be focusing on the last three tabs that you see here to the right. And while this tab is not specifically related to true generative AI, this is going to be your rules-based generation. And I just wanted to bring this to everyone's attention. If you are a current user, you may notice that we have separated the rules-based generative tools with our true generative functionality. So again, if you are a current user, you'll notice a difference in the interface there. And these, again, are using rules-based algorithms to generate patent text that is already provided to us here within the document, meaning PatentBots is not generating any new text. But to move on to the next tab that you're seeing here, which is True Generative AI, being the Gen AI Prompts tab. What we allow you to do here is use some pre-populated prompts that PatentBots provides to every user. Those are the ones that you're seeing here that begin with PatentBots. So we have the ability to use generative AI to generate these sections of a patent application. Those sections being title, background, and abstract. And I'm just going to go ahead and demonstrate how easy it is to incorporate the generative process into the document here on the left-hand side. For all of these different sections, the operation is just to simply place your cursor right in the location of the document where you'd like to generate this text. So here for the title, of course, I'm going to place my cursor there. I have PatentBot's title selected. And then with one tap of this generate button, you're going to see the tool using AI, that Llama 3 model, to generate a title for this patent application. And I'll quickly go ahead and demonstrate the other sections, such as the background. Just going to pop my cursor in here at paragraph 1. Make sure I've selected the background. And again, one click of that generate tab will have generative AI create the background section. I'll go ahead and skip over the abstract just for time saving purposes. But what you can see here is using this very quick and easy interactive generative AI functionality allows you to generate what some may consider to be more routine or administrative sections of a patent application, which ultimately saves drafting attorneys a great deal of time. It allows you to really focus on those more important or meatier sections of the application, such as the claims, as well as the detailed description. Now, in addition to the prompts that you're seeing here provided by PatentBots, we also allow you and your firm to upload your custom prompts. And I'm going to go ahead and show you from the website where that is going to be located. And I'm going to navigate simply to PatentBot's website. I'll go ahead and sign in here. Every subscription admin has access to this link here in the account tile, which is the subscription page. And here on the subscription settings, you are going to see a tab up at the top left for Gen AI prompts. This is where the subscription admin will go ahead and upload any custom prompts that your firm has. Once they are uploaded here by an admin, they become available to all of you as end users via this drop down that you see here. So you can use these prompts across the firm, and it really just gives a very nice drop down here where users can select the prompt instead of having to, rewrite those prompts or save them elsewhere. They are able to be incorporated here into the prompt tab. Jeff, anything that you'd like to add before we move over to the Gen AI chat?
Yeah, so maybe just mention quickly. I don't think you mentioned the highlighted tags that we put there.
Oh, yeah.
So anytime we insert text into your Word document that is created with Gen AI, we want to make it really explicit that, hey, you didn't write this, and it's really important for you to review and make sure it's okay. So you need to go ahead and just delete those tags after you've reviewed it. Um, and let's go back to the slides and show them the details of the prompts before we go on
Oh,
to the chat one. I think that will make it a little
great. Yeah.
yeah.
We actually
So
just got a question about that in the, let
okay,
me go,
yep.
custom prompts.
Yeah, so what we do is like you upload a prompt. So like just for an example, let's say you write a prompt like write an abstract or something like that. So the prompt that you upload What we do is we augment it with information about the patent application that you were drafting. And on the slide here, we're showing you what we're going to send to the Llama language model. So at the very beginning there, you see that we have kind of an introduction. It says below are portions of a patent application that you may use in drafting a patent application. The next part, we have a claims header. And then in the red claims text, we there insert the actual claims of your patent application that we extract from the Word document. And then after that, we have the specification header, and then we insert the specification that we grab from your Word document. And then we didn't show this yet, but we'll show this in a second. We allow you to also upload an invention disclosure document, that you might get from an inventor, because that will have a lot of good info that the language model can use to help you in drafting your patent application. So there we insert the actual text of that invention disclosure document. And finally, at the very end, we get to the prompt that you actually wrote. So maybe your prompt is write an abstract of no more than 150 words. So your prompt gets inserted there, and then everything in this little white box gets sent to the language model, and it's used to generate a response for you. So the really cool thing about this is that we automatically include all the information that the language model needs to do a good job for you, which is basically the claims and the spec and the invention disclosure document. Let's go to the next slide because I want to show them just a little more concrete example. So on the left here is our actual abstract drafting prompt, the one that's, it says PatentBox abstract. So this is the example prompt that we wrote. And I think it's the kind of thing that many of you have written already. It says you're a patent attorney, you need to draft an abstract. And then the next part, it says, here are the independent claims of the patent application. And we have this little placeholder there where we'll go ahead and insert the independent claims. And then afterwards, we have the actual instructions that you provide. So write an abstract for this patent application, no longer than 150 words. And the last part is how I personally like to draft. I added, do not use the type of any of the claims, e.g. system or method in the abstract. And then the last sentence is helpful to make sure that you're getting the right text back. So we're instructing the language model to provide only the abstract and no other text. And then this custom prompt that we created for the abstract, that gets inserted into the thing we were just looking at on the previous slide that includes the claims and the specification and the invention disclosure doc. So that's just an example of how we are being very transparent of showing you exactly how everything works. And our help docs on the website also have all of this information. So you can go to the help docs on the website and see it all at any time.
Excellent. And let me jump back to the document here so I can show where the users are going to attach that invention disclosure statement. And that is right here up at the top. You're seeing the option to browse. And this will, again, as Jeff mentioned, attach that invention disclosure to be used within the prompt.
Mm-hmm. And it's worth noting that when you attach an invention disclosure document, it never gets stored on any server anywhere. It gets stored locally, basically in your Word document, and it gets sent up to us when we need it to, perform the generative AI tasks. But it gets used for that. You get the response, but it's only used transiently on a server. It's never stored permanently on the server. And that's part of how we're trying to make everything as secure as possible.
Excellent. All right. We do have some great questions in the chat, so we'll be sure to get to those. Also, at the end, we will save a little bit of time and we'll be answering some of those live. So thank you all for the great questions and interactiveness. Thank you. All right, I am going to jump to the last tab here, which is our Gen AI chat. And what you can probably guess is we are allowing you to interact with the AI assistant here that is going to assist you in drafting your patent application. The option to attach that invention disclosure statement, you can see still applies to this Gen AI chat. So if you've attached that document, you can use the chat function in conjunction with what you have attached here. And this is here in the text box, just an example of something that you can ask or task the assistant to do. And I'm going to ask it to write 5 dependent claims for claim 1. After I've typed that into the text box here, just a quick tap of that send button is going to send that through the Gen AI chat assistant. The purple box here, that's the input that I provided. And then the gray box that you're seeing underneath, that is the output. So again, we asked for 5 dependent claims. And here in the gray tile, you can see those 5 dependent claims. Now, after, of course, review and verification, if this is something that you want to automatically incorporate into the patent document here on the left, we make it very easy to do that. So I'm just going to jump down to the claims. And for fun, I'm going to stick them in between claims 1 and 2.
Actually, do you
Using
want to
the
rewrite them from claim 30 first or something like that?
I usually do that second just
Oh,
to
do you?
show that you can
Okay, whatever you
we
want
could
to do. Yeah.
yeah
Okay.
yeah So again, if you would like to incorporate this directly into the document, this black arrow here on the left in this gray section will allow you to copy that directly into Word. And of course, it does include that AI generated tag and highlight that we saw before with the custom prompts. So back to what Jeff was mentioning, we can even ask it an additional step. So it's written those 5 dependent claims, and now I'm going to ask it to rewrite them beginning at claim 26. Go ahead and send that through. And the assistant did just that, rewrote the claims beginning at 26 here. So if I wanted, I could go ahead and pop those in right at the end of this claim set here. Jeff, anything else that we wanted to add or show here in the chat?
No, I think that covered it well.
All right. Excellent. So that covers the Gen AI tools within the drafting functionality.
Actually, let's go back to the slide so I can show them how the prompt works for this one.
Oh, sure, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so similarly, I want to show you exactly what gets sent to the language model when you're using the chat feature. And here we have sort of an outline of what we do. So the red stuff is stuff that we insert. So the first one, you see previous messages. So that basically allows you to do things like, rewrite the claim starting with claim number 26. So the previous messages will be Katie's first message, the response from the language model, and then your new message will go below, as you will see. So the next part in black, again, we're providing portions of the patent application so that the language model has access to them. So we have the claims, the specification, the invention disclosure document. And then in caps, we have current message. So that is the most recent message that you've typed. So for Katie's last message, it would be the one that says, rewrite the claim starting with claim 26. And then at the very end, we add this text to try to make sure we're getting the most useful responses from the Gen AI. So we're saying, hey, only give us what we asked for. Don't add any explanations. Don't offer to provide any other information. So this is, we're trying to make sure that the text we get back from the Gen AI is more likely to be something you can just insert directly into your Word document and be useful as is. So I'm going to check questions.
So there was a question, Jeff, about the abstract generation with the
Yeah,
custom prompts,
yeah,
and how that relates to the claims, spec, and other source material. If we
yeah,
want to go ahead and just cover that while we're here
yeah.
in the drafting.
So the generated abstract, so what it relates to, I mean, that's entirely up to you. It depends on the prompt that you write. So if you want to go back to the slide where we have the prompt that I wrote,
Sure.
I think it's down a couple. Yeah, this one. So on the left here, this is the prompt that I wrote to draft an abstract. And you can see I'm very explicit. I say write an abstract using the above claims. And right above are the independent claims of the patent application. So you could do whatever you wanted. You could say write the abstract using claim one. You could say write the abstract based on the specification. So that's the amazing thing about generative AI is that it does, for the most part, what you ask it to do. So basically by uploading custom prompts like this, you get exactly the style of abstract generation that conforms to your own practice. So for me, I like to have my abstract based on the independent claims, but other people might want different things, and you can write your own prompt to write the abstract the way you like.
And then, Jeff, there was just a quick question related to uploading drawings to
Mhm.
the assistant. Are you able to upload any particular drawings and ask it to generate a description of the drawings?
Not currently. We don't currently have any features for processing of drawings, but that is certainly on our roadmap to add those kinds of things.
All right. Um, are we good to move on to the proofreading
Yeah, actually, do you
functionality?
mind going back to the beginning slide where we list the products?
I sure can.
I just want to answer a question that was asked earlier. So someone asked, what's the difference between drafting and non-drafting
Mm.
generative AI? So just as a reminder, um, for our customers, you can enable just non-drafting generative AI. You can enable just drafting generative AI, or you can enable both. So I just thought I'd briefly say, what the ones are here. So the first one, the ones that we've just shown you, the drafting Gen AI chat, Gen AI prompts, those are all clearly drafting generative AI. The next one, the proofreading tool, which we're showing in a second, that is a non-drafting use of Gen AI. And when you see it, it'll make perfect sense. Like there's no drafting going on there. The next one relates to automatically drafting a portion of a reporting letter. And we actually call that non-drafting generative AI because it's not part of the substance of a patent application. And then the last one, our PatentPlex AI assistant, that is also a non-drafting generative AI because you're just asking questions about a patent. It's not part of any kind of drafting process. So in summary, the first one is the only drafting tool, and the other three tools are what we call non-drafting generative AI tools.
And I'm happy to go ahead and show that. Um, So, as Jeff mentioned, that first one is going to be the first option for allowing Gen AI for drafting. And then those final three for non drafting is going to be that second option here.
And the basic idea is that we expect that more firms are willing to allow Gen AI for non-drafting tasks. So that's why we give you the flexibility to enable one or the other.
There. Yep. Right. Shall we?
Yeah.
All right. We are going to head into the proofreading Gen AI functionality, which is the Gen AI review. That's the second bullet point here. For us to show that, I'm jumping back to the application document that we use for those drafting tools. And just to the right of that drafting automation icon in the Word add-in, you will see the proofreading icon. A quick tap is going to open up the proofreading, again, on the right-hand side here. And you can see on the proofreading tab, there's a handful of tabs for all of the wonderful things that PatentBot's proofing will check for, all of those critical issues, dependencies, antecedents, as well as your support. But what we are going to focus on today is the newest, which is that Gen AI review. And that is the last tab here on the right. So this is where we are reviewing your entire Word document here using Gen AI. And generative AI is looking for typos as well as grammatical errors within the document. And this is actually a really excellent example of where Gen AI is incorporated, and it does an excellent job, much better than just the human eye. So to get this going, we can do one tap here of this review with Gen AI button. And this takes about 15 to 20 seconds to process, depending on, of course, how long the application document is. And I'm going to go ahead and scroll down so we can see some of the proofreading results from Gen AI. Taking a look here, right off the bat, you're going to notice red highlighting and green highlighting. Red highlighting here in the proofreading result, this indicates what is used in the Word document. So I'm just going to scroll down and find a good example. Here at paragraph 15, in this Word document at paragraph 15, we have text to speech. Here in green, this is going to be the suggested change. So this is what generative AI is suggesting that we change it to. And this is, of course, for your human review. If this is something that you agree with and you think that it does need to be changed, we make it very easy to incorporate that change directly into the document here. A simple click of that green highlight, we do two things. The first is we automatically navigate directly into the document where we have made that change. So you can see here it's highlighted where it's changed text to speech. In the proofreading result, you're able to see the strike through that was previously highlighted in red. And now that previously highlighted text in green has that underline. So you can see exactly here what was changed, making it very easy, again, to review the results of the proofreading. And then, if necessary, incorporate those directly into your patent application. Just some other examples of what Gen AI is reviewing. We talked about those grammatical errors. So missing commas, missing periods, again, very easy to miss with the human eye. And you can see here, we have an example of a missed comma right at paragraph 30. So I'm using this blue arrow here, and that's going to take me right to my paragraph 30. And you can see that there is no red highlight. So that means that there is no comma there. I'm missing that comma. And with a quick tap, I can go ahead and automatically add that comma into the document. So this is, again, a really convenient way to quickly analyze your document, having generative AI pick up any of those typos or easy to miss grammatical errors. Jeff, anything that you wanted to add here?
Yeah, actually, if you don't mind just scrolling to the top.
Sure
Um,
can.
so maybe just I'm gonna scroll down to like the beginning of the changes. Yeah. So So I think it's easy to like complain like when Gen AI doesn't do what you want it to do. I think we've all experienced a situation where like it's frustrating because you're not getting what you want. Um, but for this task, like basically correcting typos and grammar errors, Gen AI is absolutely amazing at doing this really well. It gets grammar so much easier than humans do, and it's really great. Um, and especially like silly things like hyphens and commas. Like it's so like most of us make mistakes all the time, and Gen AI almost always gets it right. And I think for many practitioners, when you're using this tool, you're just going to scroll down this page and all of these green and red highlights that you see, you're just going to go through them one by one and basically click almost all of them because it's going to be right like 98% of the time. And it's just a really nice way to get all these silly little typos and mistakes out of your application. And we all have tons of them, right? Because we're not using a tool like this. And when you use a tool like this, you're going to be writing patent applications with nearly perfect grammar, which is pretty amazing because as patent attorneys, we always don't have the greatest grammar.
Right. Excellent. All right. Anything else before we move on to our OA admin tool and generating those summaries?
No, I think that's great.
All right. Perfect. So for the next item on the agenda, I'm going to go ahead and just exit out of that Word document. We've covered the drafting, Gen AI, the proofreading, and now the last generative or Gen AI functionality is going to be in our OA admin tool, which is included within Prep and Pros Pro. So for that purpose, I will be using our website here. So I just logged into PatentBot's website. Over on the left-hand side here, you have this very quick access to the tools. And as I mentioned, our reporting letters are in OA admin. To begin using the admin tool, you can enter in an application number for the OA response that you're working on. You also will notice here that we do have this nice direct login to Patent Center for any of your non-public applications. In the interest of our time today, I'm going to go ahead and just select one of the recent applications here to use. And this is what I consider to be the admin dashboard. It is chock full of information as well as different functionality. But what we are going to look at here specifically today is the generating of your client reporting letters and emails, which we are using generative AI to automatically draft that one paragraph summary of the office action, again, specific to those client reporting letters and emails. So I'm going to use the drop down here. PatentBots does provide every user with some default reporting letter templates, but like our other tools, customization is available. You can upload your own custom reporting letters as well as email templates. Those can be uploaded by a subscription administrator. For today's example, I'm going to go ahead and create a reporting letter in docx format. So this is just going to generate right within Microsoft Word. And I'll go ahead and create that, show you how easy it is. I'll pop this open. So again, this is opened up right inside of Word. And what we can do, this is a custom template. It's filled with all of the applicable information. But the most important part, and what we want to talk about relating to generative AI, is how we are able to automatically generate this one paragraph summary of the office action. And this is, of course, AI generated. This is one of those non-drafting functionalities. And you can create this automatically. We will put it directly into the reporting letter for you. So it's saving you or any of your admin staff from having to do this manually. Anything else to add here, Joff?
No, I don't think so. Looks great.
All right. Excellent. Right, just jumping back to our slide here. So that is the OA summary section that you can use for reporting letters within OA admin. And the last capability related to Gen AI that we're going to take a quick look at today. This feature is located in our PatentPlex product. It is called Ask Gen AI Assistant. And I am going to be accessing PatentPlex right through the website again. So here on the left-hand side, I'm just going to give it a quick tap to begin using PatentPlex. And you can see here to begin, you enter in a patent number. It can be any of the following formats that you see here. But again, in the interest of time, I'm just going to use one of the recents. And this opens up to the overview page within PatentPlex. On the right-hand side here, this is where you have access to all of the patent tools included with a subscription to PatentPlex. And the first patent tool being the one that we are going to look at today, which is Ask Gen AI. Essentially, there are two different ways to utilize this patent tool. We're going to start here with the first button that you see. It says Patent and IFW. This allows you to use an interactive AI assistant to ask questions about this patent or its prosecution history. So you can ask a question about the patent or any of the office actions. And we'll go ahead and just open that up. Now, this takes about 10 to 15 seconds to load because we are retrieving all of the information related to the claims, the spec directly from the USPTO. So again, just bear with it. It will populate. Here, you're noticing 3 columns. I'm going to start with the first column here, and I promise that I will get to the second and third columns here. But kind of similar to that drafting tool, you see this interface is similar. It provides you with the text box here for you to type your question, again, about this patent or its prosecution history. So I'm just going to type in here and asking the assistant to summarize all the office action rejections. And we can go ahead and send that through. Again, the purple box that you're seeing here, that's the input. That's what I provided to the assistant. And then the gray box here, that is the output. And that is the response, or what I asked, the summarization for all office action rejections. So really now you have this information. It's been reviewed automatically. It saves you from having to manually, review, whether it's through a document management system or again, an entire file wrapper. And as with anything Gen AI, our motto is to, of course, always, trust but verify. And that is really how our customers are using these second and third columns here. You can use the drop down and you see that we provide the spec, the claims. You can choose, one of the office actions. I'll just select this one here, dated 2018. And the same thing for the third column. I'll just put it as the same, just for uniformity. But what this does is allows you to have this quick and convenient access to those documents so you can verify the information provided here in the first column. So that's the first way to utilize the Ask Gen AI tool. The second way you can utilize it is to ask that same assistant a question about the patent or any of the patent family claims. So I'll go ahead and tap on the second button here, and it's going to open up in that same interface that we just saw. However, this takes a little bit longer because we are retrieving all of the US and European claims within the entire patent family. So you can imagine it takes a couple seconds. Jeff, do you have any favorite use cases for this particular one while we're waiting for it to load?
Yeah. One thing I really love about this is even if you have a family with like, I don't know, a relatively small family, say 10 patents or something, um, like in my practice, I used to do a lot of work for startups where we'd have like these kitchen sink applications with lots of different inventions. Um, and then we'd have like, I don't know, a provisional, and we'd, end up with a big family of like inventions that are very different from one another. And it can be trouble to remember which invention is where. And this is really great because you can just ask a simple question and you can very quickly find out which patents in this family cover specific subject matter. So I don't know if you do this question, Katie, but one thing I do here is I say, which patents cover or which patent claims cover performing auto completions of text.
Oh, all
And then
right.
go ahead and
Putting
click send. And I think there's two or three in this family that cover that particular subject matter. And it's going to come back and it should get them right. And then for the second and third columns, we can see if it was right. So for example, there's an application there that ends in 041, and we can go to the next column and select those claims. So I had to put my
that
glasses on to see here.
is
The next one.
15.
Yep,
I
that one
think
there.
it's that
Yeah.
one.
And if you do a search here, like for Command F, yeah, so I'd search for like complete. I think the capital C is messing it up.
No.
I'll get rid of the E, incomplete. There we go. So you can see that claim one here is talking about doing completions of text. So it gave us instantly exactly what we're looking for. And otherwise, you're going to have to comb through a bunch of patents to try to, get this kind of info. So this is like a huge time saver.
Excellent.
And Kate, if you can just open the drop-down menu there.
Sure can.
So basically, all of the claims that you see there,
Oh,
um,
sorry.
the Gen AI assistant has access to all of these documents. So in basically seconds, it can go through all of them and answer your question about any of these claims. Um, and especially, I mean, this is not that big of a family. There's like 15 patents here. If you have a family with 50 patents or larger, it's just an incredible time saver to get the information you need quickly.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing that, Jeff. All right. So that is the Ask Gen AI assistant. We have covered the prompts, the chats, as well as all of the proofreading. So I think we are wrapped up as far as demonstrating those tools. We do want to provide you all with a couple of resources. So number one is our knowledge base, with which is what Jeff referred to earlier. And that is actually located through the website. Once you're logged in, if you come down to the left-hand side and you can click on the help button there, this will bring you directly to our full comprehensive knowledge base. And we have some excellent information related to the Gen AI tools that we looked at today. So if you need additional information or want to refer back, you have access to the knowledge base. And of course, as you are exploring these new Gen AI tools and different functionalities, incorporating them into your workflows, you can always reach out with questions and as well as suggestions to our support team. The best way to reach them is via email, and it is support@patentbots.com. And with that, Jeff and I and everyone at PatentBot certainly, again, thanks everyone for attending today's session. We do have about 10 minutes left in the session. So I think it would be a nice use of time if we reviewed some of the Q&A and took a little bit of time to answer some of them live. Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. All right.
Got lots of good questions here. I'm trying to select the ones that are best for like a group setting. Um, so we were asked if the PatentPlex Gen AI that we were just looking at, if that, well, first, where do the documents come from? And all the data does come from the USPTO, or for non-US patents, we get them from eSpaceNet. Um, and in particular, they're asking about whether it works for non-published applications. Um, so these tools are only for public applications, the PatentPlex tools. But more generally, PatentBots does have the ability to get info about your non-public patents. A lot of our tools are able to process non-public patent documents because you can log into PatentBots through, or sorry, you can log into Patent Center through PatentBots. Um, so I think none of our Gen AI tools retrieve non-public documents currently, but that is something that is on our roadmap. It's just an area where we need to be more careful because we're processing non-public patent documents. We got another question, which I think is a very good one. They ask, how is the PatentBot's Gen AI proofreading different from the Word grammar checker? And for me personally, I don't find the Word grammar checker very useful. Uh, I think I shut it off. I never use it because I find that it isn't helpful. Where I personally find the Gen AI suggestions incredibly useful. So I guess I'm not sure how to expand on that more, um, other than to say that I feel like the Gen AI proofreading captures things that are more important and almost always correct. If you haven't tried it yet, I think you'll really like the Gen AI proofreading. It works really well. All right, what else? So someone asked if our Gen AI tools will do a search. And the answer is no. Like those are what people call agentic um, generative AI tools. You can ask, for example, ChatGPT a question, and it goes off and does a Google search, and then it prepares an answer using the results of that Google search. We don't do that currently. We think there are more risks in doing those kinds of tools. It's an area that you need to be more careful. Um, and I guess long answer short is we don't do that currently. Um, any text that we give to a Gen AI tool is basically carefully curated by us. So we know exactly what text the Gen AI agent is using when it drafts its responses. And you're avoiding the unpredictability of having these agents going off and finding you're not sure what in writing their responses. So this isn't to say that we're never going to do like more agentic kind of tools. It's just to say that we don't do it yet. We're being more prudent and we're going to consider that for the future. There's been a few questions about like when we are modifying the content of your Word document, can you do that with track changes? And it's actually very easy to do that for all of our tools, not just our generative AI tools. In Microsoft Word, you can go ahead and turn on the track changes feature. And after you do that, any changes we make to your Word document will be shown in track changes. And that way you can see exactly what changes you made to your Word document, and you can go ahead and accept or reject them as you like, but there's, no surprises whatsoever. And then if you want to turn that off, you can go ahead and turn off track changes. And then, after that, any changes we make will be shown without track changes. Oh, so someone asked about getting demos of our products, and we're certainly very happy to do that. Do we have a slide with our support email? That's probably the easiest thing to show.
Go back.
Yeah, so we're certainly happy to provide a demo for your firm or your company. And probably the easiest way to set that up is just to send an email to support@patentbots.com, and we are happy to do that. So we got a question about there's a user who, when they start writing a patent application, they will basically copy an existing patent application and then delete and rewrite things. And I actually used to draft that way. So I certainly appreciate the conveniences of doing that. Um, but if you do that and you use our generative AI drafting tools, like the chat tools or the custom prompts, um, it is going to receive, more or less the entire contents of your Word document. So it's going to be using your old patent application in generating content for you. So if you want to use our generative AI drafting tools, um, it makes sense to modify your process to more start with an empty template um, rather than starting with a previously drafted patent application because you won't get the content that you're looking for. I guess it's good to mention some of the things that are coming very soon. So we currently have drafting tools for patent applications. But very soon, we're also going to have similar drafting tools for office action responses. And one thing that I'm really excited about is that when we are helping you draft office action responses, we can very easily get very relevant data to help you draft more efficiently. So in particular, we can find previous office actions and office action responses for your exact same examiner, right? So let's say you have examiner Smith. So we can go to the USPTO, we can find office action responses that have responses for 101 rejections and where the patent has since been allowed. So you can basically find winning arguments that other patent attorneys made with your exact same examiner for the exact same type of rejection. And then we can give those winning arguments to the Gen AI assistant. So we're giving it essentially the most important data for helping you draft your own office action response in a very efficient way. So there's a lot of neat stuff coming up that way as well.
Jeff, any ETA related to those? Gen AI tools?
So I always overestimate how or underestimate how hard it takes. Um, but I'm hopeful that by the end of March, we will have some nice tools for drafting office action responses. And yeah, I think we are at time, so I think it's a good time to stop with the questions. But thank you all for joining today. This was really great. We had an awesome turnout, so many great questions, and we would definitely love to hear from you how you like our tools, and definitely give us feedback if you have good ideas for how we can make them even better for you.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Take care.